Hey guys, Asal here, and today we're going to be talking about the leveling / progression system in Destiny, because I believe there are some misconceptions about the game and how it's really meant to be played, and some people are thinking that the game is really short and it just doesn't really have much content to it, and I think they're kind of missing the point, and I'm going to kind of tell you why. People say the story of the game is short, and truth be told, it is quite short. Hours played, I believe it is around 10 to 15 hours to complete the campaign, and the campaign isn't really anything special. It's not terrible, though it's definitely nothing memorable. But you think of other games, like other shooters that have a multiplayer component to them as well, like a Halo game, like 6-12 hours, somewhere in there, you'll beat the game. Battlefield 4, that was a really short campaign, though Battlefield 4 also wasn't that great of a game in general. But something that you need to remember about the campaign of Destiny is that it offers a lot of replayability, because the campaign spaces can be, you can go back to them and you can replay them in the patrol mode. You can earn more experience, you can earn more gear, and you can keep playing those zones. They're not something that you just play through, move on, and you never go back to. And the other thing about the game is that people think it's short in regards to just the length that it takes to beat the game. When I say beat the game, people are talking about the max level in the game being level 20, saying that it's very easy to attain rank 20 and that once you get there, there isn't really much else left to attain. And that is not necessarily true. While it is fairly fast to get to level 20, that is where Bungie says the game truly begins, and that's where we move into this kind of end game content, and that's how they really want the game to be played. They want this huge emphasis on the end game content, which I think a lot of people don't really understand, because most first-person shooters don't really have this RPG component, let alone an end game. Most shooters are played for the experience of through the campaign, whereas with this end game content, we have a completely different approach, and I think a lot of people aren't necessarily used to it, though I think kind of once you kind of get into the groove of how Destiny works, you can really start to enjoy the game. So yes, levels 1 to 20, the standard levels, are fairly easy to attain, though where the end game content really comes into play is beyond level 20, and that is level 21 to 30. So level 20 is the hard cap, though we have a soft cap of level 30, and essentially what this means is that you can continue to progress up to level 30, that you don't do it in the same way that you did to level 20. You do it by getting light on your gear. You don't get experience, you need to actually attain better gear that has light on that gear, and light essentially allows you to increase your level above 20. So if you're looking at someone's gear and they have light in their armor, that means that once they attain enough light, they'll move up to level 21, 22. So basically, the bottom line here is that you can progress past level 20, though the emphasis is on your gear, which I think is really cool. They could have just had it be just a straight linear progression to level 30 all through the use of XP, but essentially by doing it this way, by doing it through your gear, they put this huge emphasis on gear, on attaining new gear, which I think is really cool, because the point of the game is to become stronger through grinding. There's a lot of grinding involved in the game. It's an RPG that generally is just the way they work. You get better gear to kill harder enemies to get better gear. That is essentially how pretty much any RPG with killing goes. You just basically go in the circle, and it's kind of weird. It doesn't really make sense, though if you kind of stop and think about it, that's kind of how most games are played, and it's fun to, it's a weird concept, but essentially that's how these games work. So, and to get this gear in the end game, people don't really even think about getting gear. They just think like, okay, I'm level 20, I beat the story, the game sucked, I'm selling it. But essentially, there is this huge way to get all this gear. So we have like all these, factions to get reputation. We have 3 factions where you can earn gear through those. We have raids coming up, which is going to be some even more way to get gear. We also have the Vanguard and the Crucible factions, where you can earn marks through either doing the Strikes playlist or playing PvP, where you can get even more marks to get legendary gear. And then you can also get exotic gear. I'm gonna go into more detail about how to get all these specific types of gears in a future video, because I do really want to cover that. And then also we just have, okay, this is beyond me why people don't really say this. The PvP, you can play the PvP because it's fun. For me, pretty much any first-person shooter game, the multiplayer experience is where the experience really comes together for me. That's where I spend the most time, and honestly, just like leveling up to level 20, I'm not actually level 20 yet, I will say that, but just playing the PvP alone to me is an extremely fun and rewarding experience, And I'll say this with no hesitation. I would play the game for the PvP alone. I think a lot of people really don't give the PvP enough credit, and they just play the game for the story, and they say the story sucked. I don't like the game, but nobody really gives any attention to the PvP. It is so polished. It is so much fun, and when you just get on a tear, it is so satisfying. So guys, that's been my quick thoughts on how the progression system works in Destiny. I hope that maybe cleared up some misconceptions for you guys. I hope so. If not, leave a comment. I would love to chat with you about what you think about the game. So guys, with that, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.